yeah. All right.
Hello.
Yo, what's up? What's up? All right, Matt. Let me get all this out if you wanna tell us about your week.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Same as normal, really. You caught me by surprise again. Yeah, no, working hard. I was just saying to Alex, actually, our kind of guest for this evening beforehand, had a bit of a surprise trip to the hospital today. Nothing urgent or anything like that. But yeah, I found myself in there, sat next to someone that was in handcuffs in the waiting room that had obviously come from the prison. So that was a bit of an experience and something new. So that was today. Been for a few walks around the parks with because the kids off school, things like that, and working as well. So yeah, been busy.
Okay.
So, how about yourself?
Just hanging out at the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there a little bit, haven't I? Really, over the last couple of over the year or so. So yeah, but no, it's all been good. Okay, we're just that 3-4 hour wait, just waiting for things to happen all the time. So.
It's because you're getting old, Matt.
It wasn't me this time. Yeah, no, Emma wasn't too well today, so she was a little bit worried. So we thought we might as well kind of go and get that sorted and find out what was going on. So, but she's all good, I think. So.
Oh, good deal. Good deal. We've just been busy over here. We finally got some rain. You know what I'm saying?
Have you? Yeah.
Yo, Ducati, what's up, bro?
Have you had much or?
Nah, we're hurting still.
No. Oh, yeah.
Still.
We've gone through another little spell of a few dry days, but yeah, up here it was a little bit rainy today, a little bit drizzly, but it wasn't too bad.
Right. So Alex, man, Matt, you want to introduce Alex?
Yeah, I'm really pleased actually to have kind of Alex on this evening. Got an amazing story to kind of tell, which it just kind of blew me away, to be honest, when I kind of first saw Alex on sort of TikTok and Instagram and things like that. So that kind of encouraged me. Sort of Alex's posts encouraged me to kind of read up a little bit on him and stuff. So I'm sorry, Alex, I've been doing a bit of spying. So
that's all right.
But
been
yeah,
creeping on you, bro. Been creeping on.
But no, just kind of as I was saying to you, Chris, before off here, really, it was kind of a crazy story that's just sort of inspirational as well. I kind of thought and felt, you know, it's but I'll let Alex kind of explain a little bit more in a minute, because there's so many parts of it, I think, that well, as Alex was sort of mentioning beforehand, there is just so many parts of it that you know, kind of they are shocking, kind of fascinating, all sorts of things. But yeah, it will become a bit more apparent in a minute, I think. Yeah, so Alex, obviously Grenadier Guardsman, is that right, Alex?
I was indeed,
yeah. And from what I saw as well, you was attached to the Royal Anglian Regiment, wasn't you? On sort of when
I was,
kind of
yeah, on my Havoc tour, I was attached to 1st Battalion Royal Anglians, which is a line infantry regiment in the British Army.
Yeah.
For those Americans that are about.
You'll be picking on each other in a minute, probably. So,
I guess.
I thought really, I kind of wanted to take it a bit back, because I read as well, sort of from 3 years old, sort of that sort of age, you kind of had a big interest in sort of the army and.
Yeah. So when I was about 3, the first Gulf War was kicking off. It was all over the news, as that sort of stuff is, and that's what really sparked my interest in being a soldier.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, with the support of my mum along the way. As I was growing up, joined cadets as a teenager, got cap badged to Grenadier as a cadet as well. So that's what sort of influenced me into going into the Grenadiers. So yeah, from a really, really young age, sort of, it was obvious to me what I wanted to do.
Was there anything else that kind of crossed your mind that you kind of fancied, or was that just, you know?
Oh no, there's nothing. I was going to be a soldier, and that was it. There's no questions asked.
Yeah,
ain't nobody getting in the way, huh?
No. although a heart murmur nearly did, because when when they went to train to selection, and over here they do, you you do a selection to go in, and part of that is a medical, and then you do a fitness part. But when I got to the medical bit, doctors, listen to, check that you're okay in a physical form, and they listened to my heart and realised I've got a heart murmur, so I had to go away and do some special tests at a Bupa hospital where they stuck loads of stuff to my chest and listened to how it goes and stuff. And it's just a leaky valve, so it didn't stop me from getting in. Although I did have a bit of a panic.
Yeah,
right. That could almost interfere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it's even that in itself, really. No, I wasn't aware of that, but sort of even at that young age of wanting to do that all the time, and then having a scare of perhaps not being able to get in, and for that reason, that I can understand sort of the kind of panic that must have been involved in that. Because both myself and Chris have worked sort of within the police and things as well in the past, so and I know. Like when I first went to kind of join, there was height restrictions in those days, and I was too short, so it was, by an inch, I think. So, and then you kind of think,
wounded.
Yeah. It's not the first time an inch has made a difference to me. So, it's,
oh God,
That
sorry.
was a bit of a low blow.
Yeah, but. No, I can kind of, but sort of from free, being free, wanting to do that, and then having kind of the perhaps worry of not, being able to kind of follow your dream, sort of then, in itself that must have been a bit of worry then. But and I kind of guess is it a bit of a jump then by a couple of years to sort of when you're 19? Was that sort of when you was in Afghanistan and things?
Yeah, well, it was, because how my journey from my military career looked like is I joined the army in 2003. I did a year at Army Foundation College, Harrogate, which is like junior leadership college. You do your phase 1 training and then like extra learning stuff. Then did my infantry training at Catterick, where I learned how to use a bayonet and do all the drill that a guardsman has to do. And then we, as Grenadiers, go to Nijmegen Company. So what that is an incremental company where you basically learn your trade as such. So we was doing all the ceremonial stuff, so standing outside Buck Palace, trooping the colour. I did that in 2005.
Right, okay.
Loads of state visits and stuff like that. State opening of Parliament. So yes, so do all your bear skin and tunic stuff, and then after about 9 months, you go off to battalion and you become a proper soldier.
Right.
They say. So so then I got to battalion late 2005, and then I was straight into pre-deployment training for Iraq, of which I went to Iraq in 2006 for 5 months. That was an interesting tour because we spent 6 weeks up in Baghdad, living off the Americans. that was pretty good, actually. I quite like that. There's a memory that I hold dear to my heart from Baghdad is when we went to one of the swimming pools, and there's a lass cutting around the swimming pool in a bikini with an M4 strapped to her, and we were just like, yes, this is where I need to be. Naive young 18-year-old lad, getting really excited because two of the most favourite things to a teenager are mixing together, and it was madness. And then just went down to after that 6 week stint in Baghdad, we went down to Shaiba Logistics Base just outside Basra, and we was on the POW camp, looking after all the nasty people. So that was interesting. And then after that, got back. Pretty much bounced straight into pre-deployment training for Afghanistan. When was that? Been early 2000? No, back end of 2006, early 2007. 6 months of pre-deployment training, and then we was off out on a flight to glorious Afghanistan. And then
what's that kind of what was the scene, or what was that like when you was kind of flying over or into Afghan?
To be fair, going into Afghanistan wasn't too bad because I'd already done Iraq the year before. I'd already got that first tour jitters out of the way. It was a lot different because in Iraq we flew in on a TriStar, which those that don't aren't military. That's an RAF passenger plane. It's just like a normal commercial plane, but it's operated by the Royal Air Force, and just flew into where did we fly? I can't remember where we flew into, but we flew into Iraq like just a normal commercial flight. It was pretty standard. But then when we flew to Afghanistan, we flew into Kuwait, and then we got onto a Herc. And then I've got pictures somewhere of us all sat in the back of a Hercules airplane, flying from Kuwait into Basra, and that was an experience. That was the first time I've ever felt zero gravity.
Right.
Because they do what's called a tactical landing, where they fly at cruising altitude, and then when they're nearly sort of over the runway, they literally stick the nose down, just slam it and fly towards the ground. And at the very last minute, they level out and land. That was a very unique experience. And then the next very unique experience came 24 hours later when we was on a Chinook flying tactically.
Right.
Yeah. When we went into Baghdad, we was on a Black Hawk. Now that was an experience because you just sat with the doors wide open with no seatbelts on the road, and you're just like, I could fall out of this. And then I got onto a Chinook in Afghan, and it was madness because how we fly around, or how we used to, not necessarily nowadays, but like when we was on the Chinook, the Chinook comes down, and then you walk on in two sticks onto the Chinook, you turn around, and then you sit basically in your mate's lap.
Right.
So you got your Bergen, your weapon in your hand, your webbing, all your kit that you were taking to the battlefield, or to the FOB, forward operating base for those civvies about. So you literally sit on the floor, legs open, with you in your mate's lap, and then somebody else in your lap, and then you're looking out the back of the Chinook, and then when it's flying around tactically, bouncing over mountains and stuff, like you're just seeing sky, floor, sky, floor, mountain, sky, floor, mountain, and it was just like a really unique experience. Because I was appointment in my section, so I was the last one on. So I was like right at the back, looking out literally damn near hanging out the back of the bloody Chinook. All I had in front of me was the rear door gunner, where he was doing all his anti-terrorism stuff. And that was a really it was the best way I can describe it is like going on a roller coaster. But not having any seatbelt on the rope. It was mad.
It sounds like you left up in the air quite a few times, I think, during that.
Oh yeah. I mean, like we had a rifle with the danger end pointing down, and every now and then when they hopped over a mountain peak or something like that, you'd have to sort of grab hold of your rifle to make sure you got hold of it, because they did, bits and pieces was flying about. So that was pretty mad.
Makes you want to turn around and be like, "Hey, goddamn, chill out up there in that pilot seat." Shit.
It's amazing what them Chinooks can do. Like I don't know if you've ever seen them at an aerial display team or whatever, but we used to have the Royal Air Show up at Waddington because I live in Lincoln. So Waddington's like 2 minutes up the road. So we get all the aircraft and stuff around here. And watching what them Chinooks can actually do is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
A bus that big shouldn't be able to fly around the air as nimble as it does. It's craziness.
No,
yeah, you
they're
gotta
amazing.
respect them pilots, bro. Right? They're fucking off the chain crazy, man. Off the chain crazy.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
amazing.
a decent pilot's worth his weight in gold, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, especially with a full board of people and soldiers on it as well in the back. So, yeah, no, they're amazing. I used to go to a lot of air shows and things like that. So even the Hercules, when they do like the quick land and takeoff, where they're still kind of rolling along, getting everything out the back as they go, and then they just take off like on a very short kind of runway again. For the size of the plane, it's amazing what they can do and the power that they've got as well. So.
Yeah, massively, man. It's quite impressive. I mean, I've never had the opportunity to sit at the side of an airstrip and watch a Herc come in and go off rapido, but I imagine they're pretty impressive to watch.
Yeah. No, it's they're amazing. All those machines are really. I was originally from sort of Essex, and they get a lot of sort of the Apache helicopters sort of training and flying around there. So it's it's amazing to kind of see them just bobbing up, kind of above the trees in front of you. So
I imagine you saw a few Ospreys and stuff over there as well. Because
those things are trash, bro. Oh my god, those things are trash. Oh god, I hate those.
Yeah, because there's a massive US air base just outside Thetford,
right?
Norfolk. Yeah. So that's just up the road. So
we kind of worked at one as well one year. I can't remember what airfield it was now. That it was that way, kind of Suffolk, Norfolk. There's a few around there, isn't there? So Mildenhall, actually, I think it was, and they had the air show there, and we kind of worked there one year. And even for us, it was really interesting to kind of go into the old sort of buildings behind the scenes, because that was where like the old like World War II pilots would have stood around the fireplaces and that sort of thing. And it was really good to be involved in like behind the scenes in that and see how they kind of put together. And we met some of the display crews from like the French kind of display team, a bit like the Red Arrows, that sort of stuff. So
I've got the Red Arrows just up the road from me.
Oh yeah. No, of course you have. Yeah,
it's Scampton,
it's
another cool little geography fact is you've heard of the Dam Busters, right?
Yeah.
World War II Dam Busters. Yeah, their HQ is about 20 minutes outside Lincoln.
It's a busy little area down there, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, we've got loads of RAF bases up here. Loads.
Yeah. That's good. So I suppose the day that
the exciting bit.
How long was you in Afghanistan before the day went down?
Exactly 1 month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right at the start, huh? Shit.
Yeah, and in that month, we was in daily contact with the enemy. Every time I left the forward operating base, I had my bayonet fixed. We took our first casualty, which was the 50 cal gunner on one of the WMICs, which is a vehicle we used out there. It's we took our so the first casualty was 5 days in. It was a sniper aiming for the driver's head. The driver, but he missed, and it went in between the driver and the driver and the commander. Went through in between their heads and went through the pelvis of the gunner that was stood above him. I mean, he was fine. I think he actually made it back out on that tour later in the tour. That gives you an idea of how hot of a place we was, and
especially on day 5, bro.
Yeah, I mean, we every single day we was having a punch up with the Taliban, and I get slated quite a lot on TikTok for You know what the people that don't like the armed forces like, oh yeah, how do you get on fighting them farmers and this, that, and the other? Well, where we was literally us, the ANA, the Afghan National Army, a few mercenaries doing guard duty of the Kajaki Dam, and that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Taliban.
Yeah.
So that was, there was no civilian population. It was literally forces on forces. It was savage.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then so where we was, Kajaki is the big hydro dam that powers Helmand Province. And our mission up there was to keep the Taliban at a minimum of 2 kilometers away from it. So that was our mission, and every day we was going out, picking a fight with them, pushing them back a little bit, you know, just keeping them on the toes, making sure they knew we meant business.
Yeah.
And then 3 days before my day, we was out on a normal patrol, and I'd been given the GPMG, which is the heavy machine gun, for this particular patrol, because they wanted to give me a bit of a rest, stick me at the back, let somebody else go up front, because I was point man of my section. So I was the first one in every doorway, you know, throwing grenades, following it with, you know, a magazine of rounds to make the Taliban happy. And so this particular day they swapped me out, and I was with a gun group, and we was going up this wadi. For those that don't know what a wadi is, it's basically a dried up riverbed. And as we was going up there, the gunner, 2 in front of me, stepped on a landmine, and it took his leg clean off. And I was the closest team medic, and that was the first realization for me personally, as a 19-year-old kid, shit's getting real. You know, I had to do my mind clearance up to him, start treating the casualty. It was the first moment I think I've ever sat and wanted to cry, but at the same time focus on what I needed to do to, you know, potentially, well, to save this lad's life. And that's what I did. And so, you know, that was a shock to system. And then when we got back into camp, you know, the soldier, he was airlifted, he had gone. We all sort of sat around, and you know, I remember the conversation, and we said you know, the general conversation was, right lads, we've taken 2 casualties. We're 3 weeks in. Fucking watch your corners.
Right. Better get your head on straight, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We're not fucking playing COD anymore. Like, this is real life. People could die.
Right.
Yeah, and you need to fucking be aware. So then, you know, the day come round, my famous day. It was the 4th of May. Star Wars Day. Every year. Yeah. May the force be with you. It fucking wasn't that day, I tell you now. So it was normal day. We was up early. We was out on the ground before the sun had come up, and it was a clear and deny operation. We was going out to an area to find the enemy's trench systems and tunnel systems, and basically just blow them up so they can't use them anymore. So, you know, the night before, the area had been heavily mortared, and as we got out, we crossed a big open space, a field, got to the compound. As I was point man, so I got to the compound. The side wall of the compound was sort of blown open, so it was easy access straight into clearing rooms. The first room I looked in had a little hole in the back of it, and anybody who's done any military service and been to Afghanistan will know that is not a good sign.
Right.
It's really not a good sign, because that's what we're looking for. That's what that's what the enemy are using to get about undercover,
Right.
sneaky peeky style. And so I saw this and stopped dead in my tracks, and the rest of the section moved through me, and then the next section bounced through and cleared the rest of the compound. And as I was sat looking at this hole, and there's no light or anything, it was dark as a wizard's sleeve. It is, my thought process was, there's someone in there. I just had a gut feeling there is somebody in that hole. I don't know how I know it, but I just know it. My experience and instinct had kicked in, and I was glued to this hole. And then there's a load of commotion behind me, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there was crack, 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 crack. Contact. We'd found the enemy. And what it was is the platoon signaller was going out looking for the platoon commander, and it fucked up and gone through the wrong doorway. There's a reason why we called him Gordmong, because he's a bit special. But yeah, anyway, so he went through the wrong doorway, and he'd been brassed up by the Taliban, who was laying in wait. They knew he was coming. They was all set up in an ambush. And he'd taken a round in his fleshy bit of his stomach, his love handles, as I call them. Luckily for him, he had a bit of chunk on him, so he didn't really touch anything vital. And then the second round bounced off the top of his radio and went through the fleshy part of his shoulder. So straight away, he was out of action. All his kit was off him, passed on to the next bloke, as we do. And then we got, my section, which was known as suicide section, because every time there was a mission or a compound that needed clearing, my section commander Tomo volunteered us for it. So it was nicknamed suicide section. So the call went out, right, suicide section on me, and I was like, I can't fucking move. I'm watching this hole. I'm not moving until someone replaces me. And it was like, Harry, where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? And I was like, shouting back. There's a bit of commotion because the fucking world's erupting by this point.
Right.
And so I got replaced by a mini-me gunner from one of the other sections. So then I got to the platoon sergeant at the doorway where the platoon signaller had gone through, and we was given a brief. And the platoon sergeant said to me, look out that doorway, see the big compound across the way, because out this doorway there was a bit of an open ground. And he says, right, see the big compound, you are taking that one. You are, I want you to get across there, fucking blow the door open, get in there, and fucking finish whatever is in there. Like infantry do, kick doors down, shoot people in the face. That's what we trained to do. It was my day to do that. So I stuck my head out this fucking little doorway, had a quick look around, noticed there was a little compound between, halfway across. And, this compound was probably only 6 foot by 6 foot. It was tiny. There's, hardly worth hardly worth the mud it was built out of. And anyway, I noticed it. I said to the platoon sergeant, I says, oh, look, there's a little one. Do you want to just clear that and then bounce onto the big one? And he was like, nope. There's going to be no one in there. It's too small. Don't worry about it. Just get onto the big one. That's the priority. And I was like, are you sure about that? Bear in mind my gut, the whole, everything was just like, I really feel like I need to.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And anyway, the platoon sergeant got a bit angry, and he was like, no, you do as you're fucking told. You're a fucking soldier. Get the fuck on and do it. And I was like, okay, time to put my fucking big boy pants on and go to work. So we got the countdown, and 3, 2, 1, and I was out the door, down the compound wall, and straight across the doorway of this small compound. And as soon as I was in that doorway, the Taliban was in there. Lower down in a trench system, opened up. The first round went through my helmet, bounced off the through my helmet, in my temple there, and then bounced off the bottom of my eye socket. Pushed my eyeball up into my brain, give me a bit of brain damage, squished my eye, filled it with blood, and just fucking came out. That knocked me clean off my feet, and there was an ever so slight moment of darkness where I was traveling through the air, hit the fucking deck, and I was like, "Holy fuck, what was that?" Fucking the fucking world erupted by this point because there was our blokes on the top of the compound. There was fucking enemy fire coming from 3 different fucking locations. The rest of my section ducked behind the wall of this small compound, dropped a load of grenades over the wall because it was only about 6 foot high, probably not even that actually. But yeah, dropped a load of grenades over the top of this compound wall. A little bit of that frag got me in the arse cheek, which actually hurt more than getting shot in the head, believe it or not.
We would have known, huh?
Yeah, I know, it's madness, yeah. And yeah, so then while I was on the floor, I thought, holy shit, my face has gone fucking numb. So I got myself onto my hands and knees, and I sort of checked myself over, and then went to check my face. And as I pulled my hand away from my face, the blood just started streaming. And I was like, shit, this is bad. I need to get the fuck out of this situation. Had a look around, did the typical infantry thing. Where's my rifle? Looked over, it was just out of arm's reach. Went to reach for it, and about 30 enemy rounds bounced off it. And I know there was enemy because there was green tracer. So I left that fucker where it was because I didn't need it anymore. I was going home. And then sort of did my self check. Right, yeah, my body still seems like it's intact. I can feel my toes. As I checked my legs, a green tracer went through my trousers, just caught. Well, it didn't catch my leg. It was close enough to burn me, but it didn't actually penetrate my leg. So that was another fucking shit. So I was like, nope, didn't touch me. I'm okay. Get the fuck up. Let's go. So I got myself onto my feet, got to the opposite side of the doorway from where I'd been shot. And at this point, one of the other section commanders was on the roof from the compound that I started, and he was giving me a countdown, and he says, right, we're going to give rapid fire in 3, 2. I wasn't fucking waiting for that. I was off. So as it got to 1, I run in front of the doorway. A red phosphorus grenade went off for smoke cover, and that got me just underneath my nose there, and that burnt all my airways, which will come apparent in a minute. So then kept running, got back into the compound, to which I had been fucking met by the platoon, the company doctor, because it was so hot out, so active out there. We had a combat doctor attached to us out on the ground, because of fucking how shit was going. And I was met by him. He fucking went into panic mode because obviously I was bleeding from my nose, my eye, my head, fucking all over.
He's like, oh shit, I don't know what to do here. Holy fuck.
Yeah. So he's so he went into flat mode, and because I was trying to talk to him, and when you have a major head injury, the doctors like to talk to you and ask you questions. It's so they can assess how affected your brain is and how alert you are to what's going on. So so he was asking me questions, and I couldn't really answer them because I couldn't really breathe very well because of the burnt airways. So he stripped off my body armor, expecting to see a sucking chest wound, expecting my lung to have collapsed or some shit. I don't know, but he was going to town on that, doing his pre-checks and emergency protocols or whatever. At which point I saw the platoon sergeant walking around looking lost as fuck, wondering what the fucking hell is going on, and because he was looking for a casualty. He didn't realise I was sat behind the doctor getting treated. So I sort of shouted at him. I was like, Sergeant, And he was like, right, what was up? What's going on? And I was trying to tell him about the 3 enemy positions I'd seen, because while I was out on the ground and I was looking for my rifle, and I saw the rounds bouncing off it, I had a quick look around, like good infantrymen should. So to get a bearing of what the situation was like. And in that moment, I saw 3 enemy positions, of which they was all just waiting for more blokes to come out to come and get me.
Yeah.
So I was trying to explain this to platoon sergeant, but because of the airways, I couldn't really talk. So I got what it says in the box is I got a spent round. There's an empty case of a round, but I don't really remember. This is all a bit fucking blurry for me now, because I was starting to go man down with blood loss and stuff.
Yeah.
But apparently I got a spent round, an empty case, and I was drawing a map in the sand and like pointing out to the platoon sergeant where all the enemy positions were. For that, I got written up. And I got a mention in dispatches, which is like a bravery award. It means I get a nice little oak leaf on my Afghan medal, which you don't see an awful lot nowadays. But did that, and then I started passing in and out with blood loss. Passed out, and the next thing I remember is like hitting the deck again, and I was just like, what the fuck? Looked up, and there was poppy heads exploding sort of above my face, and I was like, ooh, shit, that is not good. And what turns out, what happened is that the platoon sergeant was evacuating me on his shoulders, and he'd taken 3 rounds in his body armor,
right,
about
Holy
2
shit.
inches. Yeah, about 2 inches below me. And by this point, all I had on was a t-shirt and a pair of trousers. I had no body armor, no helmet. All that had been taken off because of the doctor trying to treating me and stuff. So so that was all taken off. So he'd taken 3 rounds into his body armor, 2 inches below me. So that was another very close call.
Yeah.
And then sort of passed out again. Woke up at the top of this body cliff, where there was a bit of commotion going on because I was out cold. They was trying to like get me down the cliff to the casualty evacuation vehicle to get me to the helipad. And I saw the commotion, and I was sort of, well, fuck this, I'm just going to jump. I'm fucked anyway. So I jumped. Luckily, the driver fucking caught me, and with me not having any body armor or any kit on, like I was pretty light because I'd been out there a month. We was on ration packs or MREs as you guys call them,
right?
And so I was stick thin. I literally skin and bone with a little bit of muscle, and so I was dead light. So he caught me, and then sort of like really majestically put me onto my feet. And then it's like, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm all right. Are you all right? It's just like a really mundane conversation. And I was like, I'll get in a truck on now, shall I? And he was like, yeah, okay. So I walked over to the truck, and by this point we'd taken another 2 casualties. So there was 4 casualties on this vehicle. Me being the worst, and I walked on, and Gordon, who was a signaller who'd been shot twice, he was sort of sat down, and I sort of turned to him and says, "Oh, do you want to get yourself on the stretcher, mate? You're in shitter state than I am." And his face went fucking white, as like a fucking ghost. And he turned around, he said, "No, mate, you're in worse place than I am. You need to lay down." And it was at that point I sort of realised how bad this was.
It's amazing how the body just kind of it's survival mode, isn't it? It's just
you just run on adrenaline, like pure adrenaline. And that moment where he sort of looked to me, went white, and said, "No, you need to lay down, mate. You're in shit state." And I was like, oh fuck, okay. Maybe I do need to lay down. And anyway, laid down and fucking woke up again. at the helipad, waiting for the Chinook to come in. And while I was waiting there, I was chatting some chick up because, you know, player. It's the only chick we had attached to us. I don't remember an awful lot about her, but I remember chatting her up. And the Chinook come in, and like normally how it works with like aircraft is the aircraft will land, and then it's down to the aircrew to give you the thumbs up to go get on that aircraft. Well, I was too impatient for that. I knew how shit the situation was. So as soon as the back wheels of the Chinook was on the ground, I started walking towards it. Of which, as the rear gunner come out to sort of give us the thumbs up, he sort of met me at the back door, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck on here!" So he sort of got me on, and because by this point I was a bit wobbly on my legs, got on the Chinook, sat in one of the cradles, which is like the seat on the side, and he was strapping me in and doing my 5-point harness up, and he was like, "You all right? You all right?" Yeah, I'm fine. Just, you know, get me the fuck out of here. I want to go home. And as he got up to walk off, for some mad-ass reason, and I still don't know to this day why I fucking did it or said it, but I sort of screamed in, shouted him, and you know, grabbed hold of him, and he come back, he said, what's up? And I turned to him and says, "Have you got some pain relief? My fucking head is killing me."
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, and then from that point, I woke up in Birmingham about a week later.
Yeah.
So you were out the whole time, like what, in like a medically induced coma, or
you were
just
on the chopper? I passed out with blood loss.
Okay.
And then as I got sort of back to Bastion, they then put me into a drug-induced coma because I was in fucking turbo. And then, fun fact, on the flight back, because they put a medical flight on purposely for me because they didn't think I was going to pull through. So they put a flight on to get me back to the UK, so I was still alive for my parents to say goodbye to. Really weird way of looking at it, but that's why they did it, because they genuinely wasn't expecting me to pull through. So on the way back, I flatlined twice on the flight, and they had to be resuscitated. Get the fucking go-go juice, and get electrocuted, and then I fucking closed Birmingham International Airport for 4 hours because I was too unstable to change altitude. So they just kept fucking circling. There was like air control had stopped all in and outs, waiting for me to be stable enough so they can change altitude and drop the fucking Herc on the deck and get me to hospital. So that was my shit day in the office.
It is amazing, isn't it? Yeah, how much kind of trauma and stuff like that you kind of go through, and kind of those moments where you walk onto the plane and you kind of throw yourself off that hill and stuff like that and things. It's amazing.
Anybody who's ever had an adrenaline hit, will be able to tell you it's fucking craziness. It's crazy what you can do on that stuff.
Do you ever remember feeling like, I'm sure you felt pain, but was it ever like anything like that really stood out, or was that adrenaline just pumping too much?
My arse cheek hurt.
Right, you're talking about from the grenade.
From the shrapnel. Yeah, that was the only thing that was really hurting, because what I'd actually missed out as well is between getting shot and getting back to the doctor, I'd managed to get my morphine auto injector out and prime it. And as I walked around the corner towards the doctor, I was about to fucking jab myself with it, thinking, yes, I'm going to get fucking high. But then the doctor fucking grabbed my arm and says, "No, you can't have that. You're an head injury." I was like, "Oh, fuck."
You're like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I was gutted. Absolutely gutted.
Yeah.
And so what was it? Do you happen to know, or was ever told, like, what the time frame was from the time you got shot in the face, right, to when you ended up on the heli back, to where you lost consciousness?
It's about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, because we run off we run on a golden hour. So if if someone gets injured, there's what's called the golden hour. So they have to get him into an operating theatre within an hour to save their life.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like there's like whenever we was out on the ground, there was always, well, I suppose it's always 24 hours a day. There was always like a medic team on standby, ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking crazy. And then so you make it back, right? I mean, bro, like you got shot in the fucking face, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit, right?
It's not even like a small round either. It was like a 7.62.
I know, man. A fucking
like
AK round, bro. Holy fuck. You know, like, and then you remember seeing a fucking tracer round like fucking blow through your fucking trousers and shit, right? And then take shrapnel in the fucking ass cheek, and then fucking and phosphorus right in front of your fucking. I mean, like, bro, like, do you ever just like sit down and you're like, holy shit, how the fuck?
Yeah.
you know, like, oh my god, bro. Talk about some kind of greater purpose, huh? Holy shit.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely somebody looking over me that day. Without a shadow of a doubt,
right.
Yeah.
So as far as like rehab and shit, man, like, do you care to go in a little bit of like what that process was and how long that took?
Right, so that was 2007. I was shot. Back end of 2007, I was at a rehabilitation centre called Headley Court. Matt, you probably know where that is. It's down just outside London. They've actually closed that now. It's somewhere else. But yeah, so went there, and I was there for 6 weeks while they was doing like cognitive testing to see how much brain damage I'd sustained. I fucking hated it. Did not want to be there at all because in my mind I was okay. Yeah, I was by this point I'd got clearance to be able to drive, so I was driving and stuff, and I just I was just cracking on with life, just wanted to fucking get on with normal fucking daily routine, but yeah, having to go through 6 weeks of solve this puzzle. So stupid questions like, so if Matt is bigger than Chris, who is smaller? Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't need to do this shit. I want to fucking go home at 11. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, 6 weeks of that, and then I was sort of home for about 6 months, because by the time I'd finished Headley Court, my regiment had come back and gone straight back into pre-deployment training because they was going back out in 2009.
Right.
So they was getting ready to go do all that stuff. So I was basically on sick leave, going through med boards, medical boards, where I was talking to doctors, and I was determined whether I could stay on in the army. How going through my compensation shit and all that crap. So I was back in. I did a trial where they do this. Well, they did do this thing where it's called back to work scheme. So that you do 3 weeks back at your regiment in a role that they'd like you to go into, because they wanted to keep me in the army.
Right.
They wanted to keep me in as a storeman. But like, that wasn't me. I joined the army to be a fucking infantier. Infantiers run around battlefields. Like, that's what I wanted to do. So by this point, my heart and my head just fucked off down the road. PTSD had really started fucking kicking in by this point. I'd hit the alcohol hard. Yeah, when I was at home, every night I was on the piss. I was down a club, getting absolutely levered, walking into clubs, finding the biggest bloke and just throwing a punch and see where the fucking ride goes. So yeah, PTSD had fucking hit hard. Yeah, and then it was my mum actually that fucking like brought me round a little bit because she was fed up of me going out on the piss every night,
Right.
and coming home at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then sleeping until 12 o'clock lunchtime. So she, it was one day she come in and says, "Right, I've had enough of your bullshit. Whip me fucking quilt off me." She says, "Right, get the fuck up. You're gonna get some chores done. You know, I'm not having this. Come on, let's get the fuck on with this." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So yeah, then I started doing shit like woodworking and stuff to entertain me at home. And at this point, I was still fucking back and forth with the regiment, going in for a day to sign some documents, or got called in to receive my mention in dispatches. Bits and pieces like that. But over the 18 months while I was getting out, it was a rough ride. And then the day finally come, 2nd of February 2009, not that I remember it much. Yes, where I then became a civilian. And that's where the challenge really started, because I didn't have the support of the army behind me anymore. I mean, I get a pension, so I'm quite fortunate. I'm quite fortunate in that aspect that financially I'm all right. But it was the mind games that I'd got a missus by that point. She'd already fell pregnant, and we bought a house by the time I was out the army. So then I was straight into renovating the house and getting stuff ready for moving in as a family. Luckily for me,
the army. Did the army kind of support stop like pretty much straight away? Did it, and does it at that time? Or
yes, because I fell through the net.
Right,
Because I was attached to the Royal Anglians, I went down on their casualty list rather than the Grenadiers. Even though the Grenadiers knew I'd been injured because they'd been doing the back to work scheme and basically ringing me up and making sure that I'm all right and stuff while I was in. But as soon as I left, like, I just slipped through the net, so I'd sort of been forgotten about a little bit. No, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not blaming anybody or anything. It's just, unfortunately, that shit happens, and I was at the shit end of that stick. But then, so I fucking struggled holding the job down. Luckily, my missus I've got now, she's an absolute fucking rock star. She'll kick me into fucking shape if I need to keep being kicked. She'll fucking motivate me. She'll tell me to get the fuck on with stuff if I'm just like bombing around. So yeah, she's an absolute fucking rock star. So just fucking finances changed at home. So I then didn't have to work for 2 years. I had 2 years at home because we had our second child by that point. And by this point, I'd had 3 bouts of 3 fucking rounds of counselling with various different people. Nothing really helped. And then I started my own business, landscaping, laying patios and stuff like that, because it's something I felt comfortable doing. It's something you don't really need skills for. Well, qualifications for. You need skills, but not qualifications in this country to do it. So I sort of fell into that and started my own business. And it was at that point when I was looking for financial help to get my business off the ground. I approached my regiment, and they was like, "Holy shit, where the fuck have you been? Like, what the fuck?" So from that point, and still now, I'm in touch with the regiment regularly. Like a month, about every 2 months, I have a chat with my regimental casualty officer. Which is an absolute fucking diamond as well. So I found while I was we had a bit of stress at home. The business was sort of growing far quicker than I'd ever fucking anticipated. So that was causing problems with the relationship with my missus, and there's a few shit that went down, and it was a very stressful fucking moment. And we had a piss up with me and a load of mates. I ended up getting levered, and we ended up kicking 10 bells of shit out of one of my mates, which is not ideal.
Right.
But anyway, so that ended up with me in court, and it was at that point that I realised I needed to do something about my mental health.
Yeah.
And that was, when was that? That was 2018, that was. And I started on a weekly basis going to see a psychiatrist. No, psychotherapist, sorry, not psychiatrist. Should have a fucking sad on if she heard me saying that. Cause you know what they're like. Yeah, and I was doing that for 3.5 years. And that finished... When did I finish that? 2020. Beginning of 2020. And that... At that point... Well, that point I was ready. Ready to sort of part ways with my therapist. And yeah, it's just still claw back at it, and every day's different. Every day's an up, every day's a down, depending on what's going on. So yeah, it's still a struggle nowadays, but
yeah,
I know how to handle it. I know how to get on with it. I know if I wake up and I'm feeling like shit, I know what I have to do to get myself out of that position. And the only way I've done that is by the psychotherapist and fucking square me away, working through some of them demons that I've got lying around. And do
you kind of concentrate on anything in particular during that time? Is it like do you get kind of energy from thinking about family, or is it more personal things to yourself?
For me personally, gaming's been massive sort of help, because I'm in a little gaming hub now. I've only had this up for about 6 months, I think. And before that, I had it in the front room. But yeah, like just jumping on Call of Duty, having some fucking games with my mates. I'm now part of a charity esports team as well. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, like gaming for me is massive. It's helped me in more ways than I know. Just sticking my fucking headset on and just concentrating on what is in front of me and nothing else. I'm also very fortunate that I've been able to go away quite a lot with different military charities like Blesma, Not Forgotten Association, supporting wounded veterans. So I've been all over the fucking world. I've been to Colorado 4 times snowboarding, been scuba diving in the Red Sea, snowboarding in Switzerland. What else have we done? Golfing in Florida. So yeah, I've had the opportunity. I've had the opportunity to get about, and that's really helped as well. Because they call it rehabilitation, but it's just a holiday. I'm not gonna lie. It's a fucking holiday. But
it sounds like you deserve a break.
Because it's really good, because like the people you go with are all military people. Some have got 1 leg missing, some have got 2 legs missing, some's got 1 or 2's got an arm missing. I'm one of the very few within, especially Blesma, which, do you know about Blesma? Do you know what it stands for? So Blesma is British Slimless Ex-Servicemen Association. So everybody within Blesma, that military charity, has got something missing in either a hand, well, not necessarily missing, just lack of use.
Right.
Like one of the lads I play esports, play Call of Duty with, he's paralysed from the waist down, I believe. So he's lost the use of his legs. So so it's not just missing, just the loss of use.
Right.
Does that make sense? Have I said that
right?
But anyway, so so these lads I go away with, it's always quite entertaining, because I'm one of the few that's got all 4 limbs, but just missing an eye. They always tell me it's a flesh wound. Just need to grow another eye. Okay.
You're like, bro, shut the fuck up. I was shot in the face with an AK, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I think there's something's kind of stuck out for me a lot about kind of watching like your posts on TikTok and the social media side, and kind of reading about you as well, is obviously the sense of humor that kind of comes through. And I think sort of police work, armed services and things, there's like that dark sense of humor, isn't there, that's quite often there as well. But has that always kind of, is that been kind of a constant during that time where you've kind of kept your humor to some extent?
Oh yeah, massively. I'm always taking the piss out of myself and everybody around me. There's no other way to be in my book. Because if you can't laugh about a shit situation, then you should be putting yourself in a shit situation.
Right.
Yeah.
That's simple as that in my book. Yeah. Like, there's nothing too dark when it comes to humour.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, I imagine you've seen some fucking dodgy humour in your time.
Oh yeah.
In the forces, it's like, it is ridiculous. Like how bad. Like you know what I was saying about the first casualty we took, the 50 cal gunner. So when he got injured, literally 20 minutes 20 minutes getting into camp, like there was a sign on his door to where he's sleeping, 50 cal job application, 50 cal gunner wanted, apply within. Like literally 20 minutes.
Yo, that is so fucking funny, man.
Yeah. Like,
oh my god,
it is that savage.
It is ruthless, man. It's ruthless, but it's all in good fun. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Oh yeah.
Can understand it as well, though, really, because it is that, you know, kind of that way of trying to pick yourself up and kind of keep going, and you know, trying to change that mindset, really, isn't it? In a lot of ways of you know, kind of marching forward in that way as well, really, of, you know, trying to make a kind of a joke of things in that sort of way. I know, you know, nothing compared to that, but I know kind of my time working in the police and things, there was more and more of that kind of coming in, and there was certain elements that I knew were kind of changing my personality and my sense of humor as well, where you'd kind of catch yourself saying things and you sort of think, did I really say that? Because it was a bit dark or a bit bleak and bits, and in some ways it's kind of why I kind of left that environment, because I could feel the way that it was changing me, really, and you know, that was kind of the decision I made. But it's an important part as well to kind of keep that teamwork going, isn't it? And
I mean, as a soldier, and I imagine it's the same as a copper. You know, if you are in a really shit situation, like for example, first time we got shot at in Afghanistan, is me and my mate Chris. We were sat on an edge of a ditch looking out over a poppy field, and there was a tree sort of right next to us, and we sort of sat there and we saw this dicker fucking popping up and down, and we weren't really sure what he was doing. At that point we didn't know what the fucking dicker was. We'd seen him in Iraq, but you know, they operate different. And anyway, he fucking popping up and down just as we was about to call it in. He disappeared, and we was like, oh, well, we can't call in what we can't fucking see, so you know, we'll just sort of wait until he appears again. And then we didn't see him for like 10 minutes, and the next thing we heard was crack, crack, crack. And we were like, the fuck was that? And as I looked to Chris that was sat next to me, there was a branch literally like 6 inches above our head. And as I turned my head and looked at him to ask him what the fuck that was, the leaves from the branch like came down between us, and we was like, oh
might
shit.
be time to get it done, you know.
Oh shit, I think we're getting shot at.
Yeah.
And then another burst come in, crack, crack, crack. It was like, no, we are actually getting fucking shot at. So we jumped in a ditch in front of us, and he just started giggling like fucking schoolgirls. And it was just like,
did you fucking see that shit at the bottom, bro?
Yeah. It was like proper like, oh my fucking god, we're getting fucking shot at. This is fucking mad. Just absolute schoolgirls. It was bedlam. And then we sort of realised, oh shit, no, we need to start acting like soldiers.
Maybe we should do something about this at some point, you know. Like.
I think for me, it's like, for my interest, if like the way people's behavior and thinking and thought processes and things like that, it's like really interesting, because it's that time delay in some ways of realizing kind of what's actually happening to you. And for me, the interest is like how we kind of adjust to that, and kind of perhaps like that giggling, is a way of kind of dealing with what's going on at the time. And then you kind of switch into, like, in your kind of what you was involved in that environment, the training then kind of kicks in at a point and things. And quite often myself and Chris, we talk about obviously all sorts of things on here, but something that kind of keeps popping up is that process that Chris will know about now, is like that kind of the emotional side will kick in first, which is where that laughing and bits comes from. And then kind of the logical side then follows and kicks in, which is where your training is, and the factual, thinking and that side. And you're talking about it being in that kind of extreme environment of where you're being shot at and things are happening to you, where the same process kind of works that way, whereas the emotional side will come in first, where the laughing, the giggling, the joking will kind of come in. But then you've still got to kind of act with the logic and the factional and the rational side as well afterwards. So we talk about that a lot on here, or we have done, and like, it's interesting to hear it in your extreme that you was in and your experience, because the process remains the same. And where I work now a lot with sport as well, people will kind of say, well, do you know what it's like to work under that pressure of performing like in a football stadium, in a in a Premier League or something like that? And because my background is different from like hospitals and the clinical setting, a coach in sport will always talk about the pinnacle of like what humans can kind of achieve and what they can do is shown in sport to them. Whereas because of my background, it's not. It's kind of shown more with people like yourself, with what you deal with, and nurses, doctors, surgeons, things like that. It's the miracles to me kind of happen in hospitals and out, in combat, like what you've experienced, and pilots, which we've talked about and things like that. Whereas a sports coach, in the Olympics, will believe that athlete in front of them is like the pinnacle of what humans can achieve and stuff.
No.
But
human body can go far further than a bit of sport.
That's right. And I can understand their view, because they're dealing with elite athletes and things. But I believe that I'm kind of right, and it lies with people like yourself and in hospitals and things like that, really. So it's
all you got to do to really get an understanding of how far the human body will go is start talking to a few squaddies. Especially those that's lost limbs. I've got loads of mates that's got bits and pieces missing, and me as well. So when people talk about how far a human body can go, like it is ridiculous. Like nobody really knows, because you put one man in a situation, he will react differently to a different man. And then you start throwing fucking bullets, bombs, fucking explosives about, and they're both going to act differently to how they would do anyway. And then you start taking bits and pieces off that human body, in the sense of a leg, an arm, an eye, whatever, then that human body will adapt. It will change its behavior, its learning process, and everything like that. So, and they are right. The human body will carry on regardless, but it's the mental state of mind you've got to have in the right place and driving you in the right direction to make that happen. Because I could, I'm not proud of it, but I went through really dark stages where I tried committing suicide a few times because I just couldn't handle the fucking shit that was going on. But you take yourself out of that situation. Have a look, like what is my therapist says, an out of body experience, where you basically sit there and then take yourself out your own body and look at yourself, and then you sort of realise looking upon yourself, and you sort of think, okay, so you're dealing with a lot. You've got a lot going on. You've lost an eye. Your fucking knees are hurting because the army's fucked them up. I broke both my arms in 2020 mountain biking, which I know is ridiculous, but your arms aren't as strong, and you have to sit there and basically tell yourself why you're feeling like that. And then when you tell yourself why you're feeling like that, it then helps you go, okay, yeah, I've had a few fucking rounds with death. I'm just going to chill, have a minute, but don't sit there too long.
Right?
Get up, get up and get on with it.
So I used to. I've done a bit of work with sort of veterans with addictions, sort of a number of years ago, and the one thing that really kind of got me was a lot of them would struggle to kind of talk to kind of civilians, everyday people, because of that connection of, someone might be moaning about, I don't know, sort of
first world problems.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, really. Whereas it feels, from kind of what I know about you, whereas you kind of accept that you kind of understand why those people still moan about those problems, where I've spoken to a lot of veterans that are really disconnected, where it's like, well, you've got nothing at all to moan about or complain about and things, because look what we've kind of put up with. But you seem to be a little bit different from what I understand.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I understand that there are first world problems. All you got to do is look at my two kids. If the Wi-Fi gets turned off, they go fucking batshit crazy. You know what I mean? So I get that.
Yeah.
But then, also it annoys the shit out of me because so what if the Wi-Fi's gone off? The sun's outside. Go outside and play.
Right.
There's a solution to every problem. Find the solution. Sort the problem. And people don't tend to get that a lot. So a lot of the lads that I talk to who are in that mindset where, oh no, I can't talk to civvies, they don't understand, they just, I don't connect with them because they haven't done what I've done, and so on and so on. And I'm not going to call anybody out, and I'm not. This is probably going to upset a lot of people, but stop riding that pity train.
Right.
Soldiers do extraordinary things. We all know that. But don't fucking sit in that. Talk about it to your mates, and by all means have a bit of a fucking whinge about it if you're feeling a bit shitty. But just get on. Don't sit in that place too long. They've got to, and I know this from experience because I've found myself many times where I've just been procrastinating and just fucking sticking my hood up and just going, no, I don't want to play. And it takes a lot of fucking effort to go, okay, I've just been a bit of a dick.
Right.
Deep breath. Get a coffee down me. Let's go play with the world.
Yeah.
You just gotta, and bro, you gotta force yourself to do it. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
We always talk too about those little things, man. So I watch this video all the time, man, by some admiral in the Navy, and he talks about how to change the world.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Start
by making your bed. Yeah.
Goddamn right, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, bro. And that inspired me a lot myself, man. And I tell people, and I brag about it all the time, of like how you just start doing that one simple task, man. And it's like I watched that video and I tried it, and I consciously knew that I got it from the video, but I found myself like a week later, like fucking, oh shit, well, let me go do this now. Let me go do that now. And then just accomplishing all these things throughout the day, even though I was alert that I got that from that video, but everything just became so second nature, by just readjusting your mindset.
Chris,
you know what I mean?
Chris, what's the first thing they teach you in the military in basic training?
Well, they kind of taught us a lot of shit, right? You know what I'm saying?
Day 1, week 1 is how to make a bed block. How to fold your sheets.
Yeah. Fucking those fucking corners and shit. The Marine Corps.
Start by making your bed,
bro. Yeah.
Start by making your bed.
Yeah. 100% true, man. I fucking stand behind it, bro. I mean, I always will, right? And we
Yeah.
constantly talk about that here, especially on Mental Health Fridays.
And then once you've learned how to do your bed block, you then learn how to do your uniform.
I think
you've
we
learned-
actually was learning how to do uniforms first because we were getting screamed at so much. And bro, when we went to boot camp, like we couldn't wear, like we wore our camis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we weren't allowed to wear boots initially at first, right? And then when we had to go around in tennis shoes. And then after, like, I think after the second week or something, or we wore boots or whatever. And then, but we couldn't blouse our boots, right? We had to fold them up and leave them like hanging down, looking all sloppy and shit. And then as time progressed, you actually got to do more. You know what I mean? Bro, that shit was so fucking funny to watch people walking around in like fucking unbloused boots, looking all like fucking immature and shit. Bro.
Yeah. So when we go to phase 1 training or training, we get issued a tracksuit on the day we get there. So then that officially makes you a soldier because you're all the same. Yeah?
Right.
And that's what I mean by, from our side anyway, from our side of the pond, you get issued your tracksuit, so you all look the same. You don't have to iron a tracksuit; you just put it on.
Right.
So you learn how to make your bed, and then you get issued your uniform, and you have to learn how to maintain that uniform.
Right.
Like for me as a guardsman, it was bulling boots, making them more shiny. That shit takes time.
It does.
Same as your mental health. You just got to fucking chip away at it and work at it. And you just got to do it in the right order as well. It doesn't work if you don't do it in the right order.
And I think, too, the efficiency of that, man, like, by just learning those things at boot camp, it programs, I think, overall. And this is why I tell people quite often, I'm like, one of the greatest things that ever happened to me was going to the United States Marine Corps because I'm fucking ADD as fuck, bro. Like, I hate, like, when I get bored, I get mischievous as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And that has led me into some situations in life. You know what I'm saying? But I really feel like a lot of things that I picked up from the Marine Corps helped me learn how to somewhat, for the majority, focus some of that. There's always that rowdiness that stays there, But and without that, bro, I'd probably be in a lot of trouble. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Right.
Oh yeah.
Just those small little things like what you're talking about, bro, that lead into a huge big picture.
Yeah. I know, Alex. I know you touched on kind of your mum kind of pulling you out of bed that day and things like that. But from what I understand as well, we spoke about it a little bit before, where you said that she'd kind of mentioned something before you kind of went in. But she obviously seems to have played a big part in kind of helping you kind of get into the services in the first place. But then also sort of after you kind of obviously got injured as well and had that sort of day. So is it right to just kind of talk about how she helped you and stuff? So
what we were talking about before is the little story I like to spin quite a bit to help people. Is the day I was leaving to go to Afghanistan, my mum turned around and said to me, no matter what situation, no matter what the fuck goes on, just keep breathing. And as long as you keep breathing, you'll be all right. And then obviously the day fucking happened where I fucking headbutted around, and all I could find myself saying to myself in my head was just keep breathing. Just keep fucking breathing. Breath in, breathe out. And just keep rinsing and repeating. Just keep doing that. Keep oxygen going into them lungs. Keep getting that CO2 out. And weirdly enough, that helped me massively with my mental health as well. Because I think I just said it that every now and then you just got to stop and take a deep breath.
Right.
You just got to stop, take a fucking deep breath, assess the situation. Is it really worth getting fucking beat up about? No. Not gonna fucking, like for me personally, I say to myself, I'm not getting shot at.
Right.
It's a good day.
Yeah.
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
So, when I'm having a bit of a meltdown or whatever, I'll stop myself, I'll breathe, and then I'll say to myself, or ask myself, are you getting shot at? No.
Yeah.
Then it's all good. Like,
yeah.
I was talking to one of my TikTok followers actually, and she's got PTSD from being in a car crash,
Mm.
and I told her, I told her that little thing that I do, and I sort of changed it for her.
Mm.
And a couple of weeks, so if you're having a bit of a meltdown and you're getting a bit stressed or whatever, take yourself out of the situation. That's the most important bit. Take yourself out of the situation, because if you don't take yourself out of the situation, it's not going to change out.
That's right.
But take yourself out of the situation, have a minute, take some deep breaths, and then ask yourself, are you involved in a car crash?
Mm.
If the answer is no, then everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Just keep fucking going.
Mm.
And anyway, so a couple of weeks went by, and I was back in touch with her, and I was talking to her, and I said, how are you getting on with that technique, that that little fucking tip I gave you? Have you used it?
Mm.
And she turned around, and I was FaceTiming her, and she turned around and she just burst into tears. And I was like, oh shit, are you all right? Like, did I say something? Are you okay? And she goes, no, that little tip you've taught me has helped me more than you can imagine.
Mm.
And I was like, oh shit, okay, like that's really good. What sort of what's it? How's it helped you? Like, this is because although I want to forget that day, it is a gentle reminder of how shit of a day you could be having.
Yeah.
And I was like, boom, there it is. That's the money shot.
And man, like the massiveness of that helping once you have that realization moment, like that it's life changing. You know what I mean? Like from there, you feel like you can heal again. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because no matter what, I can just stop and just take a second, bro, and not be in those worst situations I was in before.
Yeah.
Has it always been easy to kind of talk about that day and your experiences, things, or have you had times where you just didn't want to talk about it and you was fed up with people kind of asking the sort of questions that we are? Or
to be fair, I've never really got bored of it. There's a bit of a I've got a bit of a stigma with me and my neighbours.
Right.
As soon as I say anything about getting shot, they're like, oh my god, you got shot? I never knew. We love a bit of sarcasm over it. So it's
like Uncle Albert from Only Fools and Horses.
That's exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I ain't never been shot in the face, but I really feel like you have some bragging rights. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just throwing that out there. Right?
It kind of reminds me of the scene from Jaws when they're comparing scars and things, and I just haven't got anything that kind of matches or comes anywhere close to that. So it's it is, isn't it? It's just an amazing kind of story and situation, and something that obviously when I first kind of heard and saw about, I was kind of sat there for a while, to be honest, just having to kind of read and listen to your your posts again on TikTok and stuff, and little videos that you've done on there, just to kind of take the information back in again, really, because I mean,
it is a serious amount of information, for, especially for, like, I get a lot of kids asking me about, did it hurt? All the questions, and I get a lot of kids asking me them same questions, and I try and answer them as nicely as I can, but I just can't help but take the piss, because once you've answered that question once, you've answered it a million times, so it gets a bit repetitive. So I spice it up a little bit. And someone asked me how I lost my eye on TikTok, so I was taking a piss and told them that I'd fucking hit my toe on a door frame or something and caught my fucking eye on the top of the door. So just take the so just I fucking like get a bit fucking wild with it sometimes, just to change the record a little bit. But the longest, not really. I don't get bored of it. It's like it is quite a big bragging rights. It is a very, very good, interesting story for those that are genuinely interested in it. But yeah, I mean, it is one I do like telling.
I just I really do. I just find it inspirational, really. And I know you've had those really dark days of, especially when a drink was involved, and and things like that. But you know, you've got through that, and the way that you've kind of got through it, and obviously, you know, I kind of, your mum was a big part of that, I feel, and stuff, and helped you kind of move forward as well. But you know, it's, I can't imagine anybody that wouldn't listen to that, and especially what, you know, your kind of recovery process and the way that you spoke about, you know, the importance of looking outside the situation, breathing, you know, reflecting on, you know, that you're not getting shot at or you're not in a car accident, those sort of things. I know you had you mentioned that you got an interest in kind of, you know, going and speaking to other people and motivate them and bits. And, you know, it's always amazes me as well how so many like kind of big experiences like that can then go on and help so many other people if you kind of have an interest in using it that way, and, you know, and talking to other people and sharing it with other people. And I'm sure, you know, I know you would have done already, but I'm sure if that's kind of what you're interested in doing, that you're going to go on and kind of, you know, change and motivate a lot of other people's lives, whatever age they kind of are as well. So
yeah, I mean, even just doing the TikTok stuff, like I've had the amount of messages and comments I get from people who follow me. You know, oh, you've changed my life for the better. You know, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't still be here. Like you name it, I've had the comments and the conversations, and sometimes it is a bit emotionally overwhelming for me to go, oh shit, I've really have impacted someone's life for the better. You know, because I'll be honest, some fucking times I struggle to fucking get breakfast in the morning, but yeah, I'm managing to fucking help this person stay alive, and it's just like sometimes it just doesn't fucking add up in my head, and my brain just has a bit of a fucking prolapse. But you know, it is, you know, like I said, it is a pretty mad story, and the amount of people that told me how inspirational I am is I don't think I can count that high, but, you know, I am only infantry. But, you know, it's, so, yeah, hopefully I can still carry on impacting people's lives and, you know, make them a little bit better and a little bit more bearable.
Yeah.
Sorry,
go on.
No, I was going to say, like, I just try and, you know, every now and then I break up with a little bit of comedy. I did a few fucking videos on TikTok where I was putting stupid songs over situation. What was one of them? Fucking got shot down or something like that. So yeah.
Does it kind of change, obviously, you know, from wanting to be a soldier from, you know, the age of 3 and things like that? You know, does it kind of change your view on kind of, you know, the armed services, or have you got a different opinion now looking back than what you did? Or
absolutely not, because I knew what I was signing up for. As soon as I walked into that recruiting office, I knew there was a potential that I could be hurt or die, and that is one of the most important things I feel that is needed to get across to the younger generation that want to go in the army, because especially now there's nothing going on in the sense of there's no Iraq, there's no Afghan, you know, there's no major war that we're involved in is happening. There still is a potential. Like I think the army average about 2 to 3 deaths a year on training accidents. Don't quote me on that, but I think there's 2 or 3 fucking training accidents a year that result in a soldier dying. So, okay, that's only 1 or 2 out of 30,000-40,000 manpower, but still there is a potential. You know, even greater potential to getting hurt and, you know, losing a toe or a finger or, you know, your nose or whatever. So training accidents happen, and, you know, when something does kick off and, you know, we do finally go to war with, I say finally go to war with Russia, I don't think we are going to go to war with Russia, but if something does kick off and we end up back at war, with whoever, it happens. The sad fact of a war zone is not everybody comes back, and those that do come back don't necessarily come back complete. They miss bits and pieces. Their mental health is all over the fucking shop.
Yeah.
But that's the reality, and it's important to get that through to the younger generation that just want to sign up because it's a good, solid career. Yes, it is a good, solid career, but there are risks involved. And if you're not prepared to take them risks and play with that fucking that risk factor, then the army is not for you.
Yeah.
Well, the military, not just the army, because the RAF and the Navy have their casualties as well.
Right.
There was, what was the other thing I was sort of had on my mind really as well is I know you said about you kind of slipped through the net a little bit as well, obviously for a period of time really when you kind of come out, but is there anything that you kind of wish was in place or might have helped yourself kind of better or for other people really?
Oh, good question. If there is, I wouldn't know what it is.
I think sometimes when you're in that, was that kind of in your spot where you're just kind of fucking out there running and gunning and getting all drunk and shit and living a wild life whenever that really kind of was first happening, right?
Yeah.
So were you really concentrated on that per se whenever it was happening? Were you like, man, fuck the army, they leave me hanging and shit, or were you just like, fuck that, let's go to the bar and drink?
Yeah, it was more fuck that, let's go to the bar and get left. I've never had a grudge with the army, how they've dealt with it. Certainly haven't had a grudge with my platoon sergeant, which we've had a conversation since being injured, and he massively regrets not listening to me. And he said he's actually taken that on as a massive learning curve, in his way of how he dealt with his soldiers and stuff, because he went on to go through the ranks and stuff. So he said that he told me that he used that as a massive learning opportunity to be a better leader, and I didn't. And I was quite open with him. I don't hold that against him, the decision he made on that day, because he was a senior rank. He's had more experience. He's already done Afghan once, so he knows what the crack is. So I was in no place to question it. I was. It was my day to be an infantryman, and I had to crack on and fucking do it. Just unfortunate what happened, but if it hadn't, I wouldn't be in the position I am now. So silver lining and shit. But
that instinct that you had though as well, isn't it? Is probably your instinct against his kind of experience, really, wasn't it? I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, it's two great powers colliding, and unfortunately, one had to back down, and that was me. So, but to answer your question, if there was anything to be put in place, I don't know how. I mean, obviously, my regiment's going to be far different to any other regiments, because I've got a lot of mates that's military. In fact, one of my best mates is ex-engineers, and he says he doesn't really have any contact, but with his regiment, but that's because he left on his own terms. He didn't get medically discharged or like that. But I don't know. I mean, there's so much out there in the sense of charities, friends groups, all sorts of stuff out there. So to say what would be better in place, I don't think there is. I don't think there's anything that can be done to make the situation better. Probably a bit more communication, but we're only human.
Right.
Yeah, no, listening to it sounded like the communication side really, and perhaps trying to link those things together a little bit more, and you know, make sure that people are kind of aware of them as much as possible. But even then, it's kind of encourage people to use them as well, isn't it? Really, I guess you know, people can be aware of what's out there, but just have that feeling of, well, I know it's there, but I don't want to use it, and bits because of, you know, quite a few reasons normally. But yeah, I just wonder whether you had, you know, kind of a thought on that really, of whether there was something that might have been put in place for yourself and bits. But like you said, there is now a lot of charities out there, and I believe as well the services themselves are a little bit more on the ball, aren't they? Especially from what they used to do. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to a young soldier about a month ago, and he was saying that, like, because of where mental health is as a whole now, the army and the military are on it. They've literally got their fingers on the pulse, and they know that, you know, if someone's going a bit man down because of their mental health, they need to act fast. And from what I'm led to believe is that they are doing that.
No, that's good.
Also, the flip side of that is some of the lads probably take the piss because it's, you know, it's a free biff jet, but you're always going to get that. Yeah.
No, that's the thing, isn't it? It just doesn't mean that it stops being out there, really, does it? And being you know, available to other people and things and stuff. So that's good. Yeah.
But yeah, they there's got a lot of stuff in place now. Massively.
No, it's good. Yeah, it's good. No, it is. It's just an amazing kind of discussion, really, and I'm really pleased. I know, because we're obviously in the same country, so I kind of know that we was both just waiting really for midnight to come along. So it's it's really interesting, and like I said before, kind of how you kind of dealt with that, and obviously you had those dark days and the difficult times, and I'm sure, like you said, you still have those mornings where, you know, things are difficult, and like any of us, really, you know, we don't all wake up bright and breezy every day, do we, ourselves? So
much respect, man. You know what I'm saying, dude? Much respect, bro. You got a fucking ton of respect from me, for sure, man.
Thanks, buddy.
I don't know, man. It's very humbling, I think, when you can see people who have been through what you've been through yourself, and obviously all the other people that, you know, I love my military people, whether it be from here or from UK or wherever the fuck, right? I have a level of respect because you're fighting for your fucking country. You know what I'm saying? And be able to recover the way that you have, man, and be able to point out those things, you know, where, like when you said, I just take a deep breath and I'm like, shit, I ain't getting shot at. It's a good fucking day, you know? And I think that's where the true healing process starts, man. And you got my respect, dude. And I appreciate the fuck out of you being here, you know? Damn sure.
Definitely.
Thank you.
So what's next for Alex, really? What do you kind of, what do you want to be kind of remembered for, known for? What would you like to achieve next and kind of do?
I'd like not to die anytime soon.
That sounds good enough. That's where that keep on breathing comes from. So.
Yeah, I keep getting myself into stupid situations where it's like 2020, I fucking went over the handlebars on my mountain bike and fucking headbutted the planet. That was a fucking close call. But yeah, like, I keep getting myself in stupid situations, so I'm trying to, like, settle down a little bit. I've hit the grand old age of 35, so I need to just calm it and just you know, watch my girls grow up. And
it's about that age for that, man. You know.
So I mean, don't know what the future holds in the sense of, you know, inspirational talking about like that. You know, it'd be cool if I could, you know, I will be getting into that. I've got the wheels in motion for that, but you know, I'm just going to crack on, keep doing TikToks, trying to save people where I can and help people. Smash out a few funny stories, probably. we all like a few funny stories. Just plod on. Just plod on and keep doing me.
No, sounds good. It does sound good. I think, and as well, if I can, I'll kind of have a chat with you as well, sort of after this, and if I can kind of help out at all with anything that I do, and obviously with Chris as well. Chris is obviously really into the gaming side, which I didn't actually realise that you was kind of getting into, and was involved in that. So the way that I met everyone really on from this was during lockdown, and because I started watching people playing games and streaming and things, because I had loads of time on my hands. So I
So did
Chris
everybody else.
Yeah, I think everyone, people that I really didn't expect to as well during that time as well. But there was a silver lining for me, because I got to meet Chris, and I got to meet a few other really great people out of it during that time as well. So I'm sure, like I was going to say at the beginning, really, before even talking to you, I was going to say, before I've even spoken to you, I already kind of want you on again to speak to you again before even sort of we started tonight, really. So but yeah, I'm sure like we can kind of have a bit of a chat, and if I can help you out with anything that any projects that you're looking at doing or anything like that. I've got a bit of a personal ambition of actually meeting you in person and coming and shaking your hand and things. So I have to get that on one day as well. So
it's no dramas.
but but
never,
if we can
never
kind
too
of
far away from a pub.
No, right. That sounds good. I'm normally driving up and down past there, sort of. So yeah, it's
more than welcome in for a brew, my man.
Yeah, no, it'd be good to meet you in person properly. So no, thanks for that.
And I've got your TikTok and your Twitch pinned in the comment section here. When I go back through and I add a thumbnail and retitle everything, I'll make sure and have that there. I'll also drop in the Discord, make sure you get some love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
I did ask you at the beginning, before we started, Alex, about is there anything that you kind of would have wanted us to ask if we hadn't, and what the answer would be? I don't know if you've kind of come up with anything that we might not have asked you, or something that stands out or sticks out that you would have liked to have mentioned or talked about. I don't mean to put you on the spot again, but
I'm surprised no one's asked me why I'm not dead yet.
Yeah.
You just repeat it. It just doesn't. It's not going to happen, bro. Sorry.
I think it's that carrying on breathing mantra. I think you've got, isn't it?
Yeah, just keep fucking cracking on. No, I think we've covered a lot. Yeah. I mean, the story alone is a lot to take in. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question about coming back on and talking a bit more, then absolutely, I'm well game for that. Yeah.
Good. We haven't. I don't know whether Chris has seen any comments from those in chat. There has been quite a few, but I think we'd kind of got. It was good just to kind of listen and talk with you as well. So I don't know whether Chris saw any comments in chat that kind of stood out.
I mean, they all kind of end up getting answering, right? Like, see, you got a bunch, like everybody that's in here, a lot of military, right? They're just sitting back and like, holy shit. I look, I promise you, Alex, I'm telling you right now, the people that are in the military over here is like, that motherfucker got shot in the face, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? I know. I promise you.
I like how he describes it as well. I headbutted a bullet. It's like
headbutted around, or playing heads and bowls with a 7.62.
Yeah, no, amazing. It really is. So,
but for sure, much respect, though, man. Like I said, dude.
No, definitely.
It's an honor having you here, and I'm looking forward to more. Right?
Yeah. Quality, thanks, man.
Thank you very much for staying up so late and being part of it as well. Because I know for us Brits, it's not easy sometimes to get past 11 o'clock. So.
Nah, I mean, to be fair, I don't sleep that much anyway because of the PTSD and shit. But yeah, I mean, what is it now? 10 to 2.
Yeah.
It's 1950 over here in Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's still early for you. Yeah. Has that kind of reduced, Alex, to PTSD, or is it kind of?
There's one or two things that I don't tend to sleep very well. That's still quite active, but other than that, it's not. Really, every now and then, I just don't fucking when I live on a main road, and if there's a fucking car that does my tits in because he drives back and he's got like a backfiring exhaust.
Oh, okay.
So when he's slowing down, it's fucking hell.
Damn, bitch, you butterfly. Ready to load.
Yeah. So every now and then, I'm just like, fucking hello.
Incoming.
But other than that, everything else has sort of died off. I still daydream a lot. About shit. Not a day goes by where I don't think about it. But I've got to that point now where you just get used to it. It
Yeah.
sounds really
Right.
weird, but you just get fucking used to it, and you just
Learn
like,
how to
"Oh."
live with it, right? You
Yeah,
know?
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I remember the first conversation I had with my first counsellor, and she walked in the room, she sat down, and says, "Oh, hello, my name is whatever. I can't remember her name, but she says my name is such and such. I'm led to believe you've got PTSD. I can't make it go away. You'll never be able to make it go away, but I can help you live with it." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay."
Yeah.
That I wasn't expecting that, but okay.
Yeah.
No, how do we
Right.
do that?
Well, then you feel
Yeah.
like somebody's not bullshitting you. You know what I'm saying? You're like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
all right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I think I kind of talk to a lot of people about it, about sort of changing that wording really about battling it and fighting it. Once you kind of take those away and talk about managing it instead, and managing the feelings and things like that seems to make a big difference for people, because it's very easy to kind of feel that you're kind of battling those feelings, fighting like yourself in those situations, where it is more about taking the fight and the battle away from it to some extent, and kind of manage it instead, and find, you know, coping mechanisms and tools and ways of kind of reducing those feelings and managing it, rather than seeing yourself in you know, sort of situation of fighting something to that extent. But at the same time, you've got that, you kind of have that fight to have the energy to kind of get through those times as well, don't you? So I think
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
I know you've mentioned about sleep. There's been a few comments from Ryan Connor, Parker Phillips as well, about kind of sleep and insomnia and things. Have you got any tips that you've found that do help you with that? Or?
So for me, my day-to-day job is quite hard graft. So like just today, I've moved 2 bulk bags of building sand round about. It doesn't seem a lot, but it's quite fucking hard going on the body. So what I tend to do is try to get up. Right, so when it comes to sleeping patterns, your body will naturally be awake for a certain amount of hours. Everybody's different on that, but for me, it's about 16 hours. And I've sort of worked that out by trial and error. So to try and get decent sleep, move your body clock forward.
Right.
So a lot of people struggle to get out of bed. I struggle to get out of bed, but I force myself to get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, because then I know by the time it gets to 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, I'm ready for my pit. I'm ready to, you know, I can feel I nearly said RYZEN, but yeah, I could feel myself getting tired.
Right.
And I could, you know, really start feeling that on my body. So I will naturally go into my evening routine as well. Evening routine is fucking top priority.
Yeah.
Like my evening routine is, I will, you know, say if I'm gaming or, you know, out down in the garden doing fucking whatever, you know, knock that on the head. I will then come in the house, I'll have a glass of water or a juice, a yogurt if we've got some in the fridge, just to, you know, keep them fucking hunger fucking pains at bay. And then once I've had a drink and a snack, I will then go upstairs, go in a shower.
Right.
Have a shower, fucking, you know, do fucking typical squaddy wash, hair, body, fucking everything else. Brush my teeth. Take my contact lens out if I've got it in. Brush my teeth, and then just fucking stand in the bathroom, look in the mirror, and go, right, now time to go to bed.
Right.
And then I'll take myself off to bed.
Go straight to it. Right.
Yeah. No fucking about. Like, it's that you got to get good routine.
Yeah.
So I swear by my morning and evening routine. If my morning routine is, I will get up, I will go in the bathroom, have a wee like every fucking normal person. I will then brush my teeth, go downstairs, have my breakfast, get a coffee. My breakfast every single fucking morning is 4 Weetabix, without a shadow of a doubt, with honey and milk. And then have a coffee. Once I've had my coffee, while I'm having my coffee, I'll go through my notifications of socials and stuff, just have a check on that. And then, then once I finish my coffee, I then tell myself, right, time to do something. And it's talking to yourself. It sounds fucking weird, but you got to tell yourself, right, it's time to get on with something now. Don't stop sitting around fucking wasting time. Let's get the fuck on with something. Let's go. And it's the same when you go to bed. Right, it's fucking night time now. Let's fucking go. And then off to bed. And then you get in bed, get comfy. Yeah, and it's keeping to that routine. That routine, the morning and evening routine might move a little bit in a sense of timescales, but it's routine. Doing the same thing over and over every morning, every night, and it sorts me out. Yeah. Every now and then you can throw a fucking curveball and go out on a piss with your mates, but
right.
Or do a mental health stream on a Friday.
I'll do a mental health stream on a Friday. Yeah, but
Stroke Saturday.
Even my missus has fucking ridiculed me, like, because there's been nights where I've been out on a piss and I've come back at 4 o'clock in the morning, absolutely leathered, but I've still got in the shower. Yeah. Even though I'm struggling to fucking stand up, I still got in the shower. I've then taken my contact lens out, and then I've then brushed my teeth, then stood in the bathroom, looked at me and go, right, time for fucking bed, dickhead, let's go. Yeah. Boom. And I'm fucking out.
Yeah. See, Parker Phillips has just said there, I'm just real bad about when I'm laying in bed. If it's too quiet, my mind starts racing and going through too much stuff, and I can't fall asleep. But I think that's where that, right.
Music.
Absolutely.
I used to do that even in Afghanistan. I used to put my fucking earphones in on my little pink iPod so nobody would rob it. Just play some tunes. I'm quite a dancey sort of person, so mine's dush music, as my mum calls it. But get some music on, or what's that fucking, like them bird songs and stuff like that, like waves and shit like that.
Background noise.
Yeah, background noise. People tend to listen to that quite a lot. I don't like that shit. It annoys the fuck out of me. But I'd rather get some fucking rock music on, or Linkin Park, or
somebody you fucking like,
somebody you fucking can actually listen to.
Yeah,
I'm afraid of falling asleep. Always moved. Is it Shiner? Yeah, Shiner.
Yeah.
Change the movie.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is if you're replaying the same movie over and over again, change the movie. Do something that feels if you're an adrenaline junkie like I am, do something that gets that adrenaline going, because then it makes you think of that when you're trying to sleep.
Right.
Have I explained that right?
Yeah,
if you're not an adrenaline junkie, and you're more of a normal person that just likes day-to-day stuff, do something slightly outside of that.
Right.
In the sense of, if you just like going and sitting in front of the telly and watching a movie, go to the cinema. Watch it on a big screen. Probably nothing too fucking horrendous, because obviously you'll be replaying that shit. But like a good fucking Disney movie that tends to do it for me, if I'm honest. Something that's got a little bit of comedy and not too fucking taxing. And once you do that, then when you're laying in bed, you can think of that. And you got to remember, you will only think about the stuff you want to think about. Like a lot of people, I hear it all the time from squaddies from this side of the pond that, oh no, I can't think of anything other than Afghanistan, and I can't think of Northern Ireland as well. There's a big one over here. I can't think of anything this time and that time. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you want to think about it.
Right.
Like, it seems simple, but don't think about it.
Yeah.
You know, give yourself something else to think about. If you're not going out and about, or you're not, you know, living life, you're not going to have anything else to think about.
Yeah, it's creating those other experiences and memories.
That's exactly it. Yeah,
Doing
that's
different
exactly it.
things.
Yeah, giving yourself opportunity to find other things to think about, and you know, like because of nature of what I do and what's going on at the minute, I find myself constantly thinking about what I need to get done tomorrow. You know, because of the extension, moving stuff, slabbing, building a barbecue as well. So, you know, and I'm quite a technical minded person in the sense of, like, I will think of stuff and I will vision it in 3D in my head. So that's sort of stuff I tend to do, is think of projects and think of stuff, you know, that you've lived or what you want to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
No, that's right. And
yo, Parker,
I think,
and I see what you're saying, Parker. But yo, the follow up on that covered that too. You know what I'm saying? Basically, what I took from that is you have a life to live. You know what I'm saying? And you can do those proactive means of taking other steps and readjusting your mindset, right? And coming out with a different outcome than the same fucking outcome every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is all those cycles. You know, kind of in those cycles, a lot of things that we do in life are cycles. So,
so easy to get bogged down in the mud, you know?
Yeah. No, it's that old saying, isn't it? I'll kind of change it a bit because it's not appropriate to say how we normally hear it, but it's about kind of doing the same things and expecting the same outcomes and things. If you change what you're doing during a day, that process in the evening, those routines, then you slowly get different results, even when you're kind of asleep, because you're filling your day, your mind, and you know, those situations with different experiences that kind of slowly can then take effect. So, and like what Alex was saying, you're not kind of just going over the same situations, same experiences, same feelings that get generated from that. You're actually then breaking that cycle, you know, and doing something different. So.
Another side swipe for that is if it's in the sense of nightmares, the only way they really get better is if you sit down with someone you wholeheartedly fucking trust and talk about them. You know, talk and tell them how you vision them, because when they're cycling around up here, they're just cycling around. They're not having the opportunity to be processed. You sit down with someone in front of you, you know, whether it's with the beer, with the coffee, or whatever, you know, sit down with someone you wholeheartedly trust and just tell them what it is, the story, the movie, the real, you know, whatever it is. Just sit and talk to them and tell them what it is, because then that gives you as an opportunity, gives you as an individual the opportunity to really process what that movie is, or nightmare is, and then it's down to the individual you're telling that to go, all right, have you, you know, do you reckon it's because of this, or do you reckon you're dreaming that because of X, Y, Z? You know, and you can start picking it apart and examining a little better, and then start making sense of it, because that's all you really need to do, is start making sense of whatever it is.
No, it's a great comment. It takes so much power away from it. You're taking the power and the energy away from that experience. That's it's a great comment, a really good tip. Another way I found as well is people experiencing that is to kind of visualize or imagine sort of during the daytime sort of a different story to that dream or that nightmare. So you kind of visualize it having a different ending or playing out differently. Even if you kind of write that down as well, so you've got it kind of on paper in front of you. So
it goes right back down to what Alex was saying. Change the movie. You know?
Yeah. Another one is don't keep asking. It's hard, but don't keep asking yourself the if, but, maybe questions.
Yeah.
You will be there for eternity. Trust me, I spent many of years asking
dangerous road to travel in life, man.
Yeah, and them are the questions that will drag you down. Like, what has happened has happened.
Yeah,
I can't change that. Chris can't change that. Matt can't change that. You can't change it, Parker, or anybody else who wants to change them. You cannot change what's already happened. So stop torturing yourself, asking how you could have done it better, how you could have changed it.
Yeah.
It's a pointless fucking question.
Yeah. No, that's right.
Just don't even waste fucking brain matter on it.
No.
Right.
Now that is fucking incredibly hard to do. It takes a lot of talking it out with individuals, or like training, as I call it, brain training. So like whenever you get yourself into a position where, oh wow, what if I could have done this? What if that happened? How could I have done that? If you ever find yourself in one of them positions where you're asking them questions, go, no, shock therapy, get the fuck out, right, go distract myself.
Yeah.
Go dig a fucking hole, go build a fucking Empire State Building,
Yeah.
go do something other than what the fuck you are doing right now. Because
Anything to get out of that cycle, right?
Yeah, it's obviously the wrong fucking thing you need to be, it's obviously the wrong thing you are doing. So, boom, like, break the cycle, fucking snap ambush that fucking way, let's go. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the beautiful part about it, man. It's like once you get to that point where you're able to recognize that you're falling back in the cycle, and then you distract yourself. Like now you've already set everything in motion. You've just made the path for you to start walking down a lot better predicament to be in, because you're recognizing, oh shit, I'm sitting here, bro, and what if I would have done this? And you're like, nope. All right, let's go fucking do something else, and then you'll start doing accomplishing those little tasks that turn into bigger tasks, and then turn into bigger, longer periods of time where it's just your whole mindset. I think brain training is probably the best way to describe it, dude. 100%.
Yeah. But another one to that is if you find yourself constantly having to distract yourself from that, there's obviously a bigger issue at play. Yeah. So you need to talk to a professional. Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. If you are using distraction as therapy, you need to go to therapy. Yeah. Like there's no negotiation on that.
It only lasts so long, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like alcohol's a distraction, drugs are a distraction, fucking adrenaline's a distraction. If you're relying on them sort of shit as a distraction, or if you are just relying on, right, I need to do something as a distraction, there's obviously a bigger problem at hand that needs sorting out by a professional.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No more to be fucking said about that. Like, it is that simple.
Yeah, no, that's really important, because we talk a lot about kind of getting support, communication as well, and talking and things, and it's just again great to kind of get that said in a different way, really, and from a different angle, and things that from a different person as well, because people are probably a bit fed up of hearing it from us too. So, it's great to have someone else on to kind of say the same kind of message, but in a different way. So that's really good. This is exactly why I kind of was going to say right at the beginning, I want you on again already. So it's
if you don't mind coming back. Sure.
Parker, well done for 1 year sober, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yo, you hit 1 year in April? Fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah, no, brilliant. You're good.
Keep at it.
Absolutely.
It's hard work, but keep at it.
Yeah,
that's a hard battle too. Sure.
Yeah, because do you know what I found? Okay, I wasn't alcohol dependent in no stretch to the imagination, but it was a case of every day I was having far too much to drink. So I'd get up and I'd wake up at like 11 o'clock in the morning and crack a can of Foster's open, because that was just my daily routine. And once I'd sort of realised that I was using alcohol as a coping mechanism, I broke that seal, sacked alcohol off. I think I did about 6 months where I was like, no, I am not fucking drinking anything. And then from that, I sort of eased back into it. It's just like, and it is, like I said earlier, you have to have that conversation with yourself. You have to sit there and go, no, tonight I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to have one beer. That is it. open that can or that beer bottle and just enjoy it, because when you get to a point where you are either alcohol dependent or if you are using it as a distraction or a coping mechanism,
right.
You forget to enjoy it.
Yeah,
It then becomes a necessity for daily routine. And we all like a fucking beer. We're human beings. There's no fucking better doing our day's graft, getting home, sitting on the fucking patio and cracking a cold one out.
Yeah.
No fucking better. But as long as it's just one.
Yeah.
Right.
I know as well.
And it's just it's getting into that self-discipline. That's the one I was looking for. Self-discipline. And once you've gone through some people will just say stay teetotal for the rest of their life, and that's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But for me, I enjoy a fucking beer too much. So I had to really work at the self-discipline to sit and have a beer.
Right.
Yeah. So that is a big part of it. I know from working with addictions and things, there's sort of some people that aren't able to have that discipline and aren't kind of for majority of the time able to kind of have one without that then leading to others. But you are right, because then that's where the self-discipline comes in and that side. I'm kind of saying that because we kind of have to as well, is that I know that there's some people that just aren't able to do that, but would like to as well. But you are right, it's where that discipline sort of comes into, and unfortunately for some people that's just kind of incredibly difficult and something that they don't feel that they can kind of do, or is recognise that they kind of can't do, because we're all individuals and we are all different as well, aren't we, and stuff.
Oh yeah, massively, yeah.
Right. But then there's a lot of people that I have spoken to that have been able to find that discipline and have been able to kind of go out and have a drink with a meal and that side of it as well. So but I think you've got to kind of know where you are as a person and be able to kind of trust yourself and know what you're kind of capable of at that time and not as well, aren't you, really, I think so. But are you still up at 5 o'clock this morning?
Oh yeah, I'll still be up at 5.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, good on you.
Well, we can definitely do part 2, man, for sure, bro. I'm excited.
No, definitely. No, definitely. Oh no, thank you again so much for coming on, Alex. And I'm cool, sure we'll do. We'll have a kind of chat. If I can kind of help you out, or if Chris can kind of help you out with what you're looking at doing in the future, then by all means, kind of give us a shout. And I'm going to make it one of my goals to kind of, like I said, come and shake your hand properly as well, and come and meet you properly. So,
and then y'all can come over to Texas and we'll all drink some cold beer and have some fun.
Yeah, definitely. That's my other ambition as well that I'm trying to work on. So
we'll go golfing or something, bro. Shit. Yeah, I'd rather go shoot shit, but we can go golfing.
Yeah, I'm down with shooting shit.
Yeah, fuck yeah, bro. Okay, America, freedom, and fuck yeah. You know what I mean, bro?
Fuck yeah.
I used to get I think I've told Chris this a long time ago. I used to get invited to come to America every summer to blow up stuff and shoot rocks, and that was the invitation in an email that I used to get every summer. You've got to come over this year, and we'll go out like shooting snakes, blowing up things, and shooting rocks. That was I've still got the email somewhere. But I'll have to kind of come over and do that with Chris one day. So yeah.
Alrighty, well,
sounds like a plan. That.
Yeah,
again, dude, I appreciate you being on here, man. Much love, dude. Much respect.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Matt, you got anything else in closing?
No, it's just I think the time that it kind of is, and the ease that it was to kind of talk and kind of just discuss the things we've have just kind of prove and show a lot, really. I knew I was going to enjoy it, and Chris was saying, he sent me a message saying like, what time are you kind of starting? About half 11, I think I got that, and I'd been sat there sort of since like 11 this side of the world,
ready for
waiting anyway. So, and I haven't been able to do that over the last few weeks, as Chris kind of knows. But yeah, I was waiting here for the link to come across to then send to Alex. So yeah, that was
Also,
Yeah.
I want to give a huge shout out to the people in the chat, man. I appreciate
Yeah.
y'all being here. Much love. And if you make sure you check that pin comment, yo, we got my homeboy Alex here, right? Like just starting to stream on Twitch, man. If y'all go show him a little love, right? And also on his TikTok, he's like a famous TikToker, right?
Yeah.
I'm not that famous.
He's got 500 million.
Okay, man.
That he's got 12 million followers, bro. Don't let him fool you. All right, go check it out. Go find out for yourself, man, all right. All right, but anyways, man, I appreciate you, Alex. Yo, Matt, always much love to y'all.
No,
And much love to the chat, man. And we'll make sure and see y'all next week. All right.
Yeah, if there is anyone in chat, I know we haven't really kind of caught up with everyone sort of as we normally do sort of this evening, but if there's anybody in chat that kind of wants to get in contact at all, use the email, drop us a line by sort of social media and things. We'll kind of catch up properly sort of next week. But if there's anyone that's got anything urgent kind of going on, Chris has got all kind of helplines listed on his Discord sort of channel, so they're all there. We are here if you kind of want to have a chat and talk to us as well in private, sort of by messages and by that email. So please use those as well.
Absolutely. All right. Well, yo, love you guys in chat, man. I appreciate y'all. Matt, Alex, same. And Matt, we'll catch you next week, bro.
Yeah, catch you soon. Thanks a lot for that, Alex. Brilliant talking to
No
you.
dramas, man. Cheers for having me.
Have a good weekend. See you soon.
I'll try.
Yeah.
There you go.
See you later. See you.